Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing amazing. So, on a recent emergency meeting with Tristan and Andrew Tate, they had quite a few cool topics to discuss, but one of them was actually the so-called Tateism, right? It's almost the Tate religion, which is not truly, obviously, a religion, but it's a framework for all men to follow and become successful in different realms, right? And what resonated with me a lot is that a lot of the aspects of that framework, of those statements or tenets, sound quite profound, and it might sound also quite simple, but the ideas are the ones that can be very beneficial, especially to youth, to utilize in their life, and that's something that will help them succeed. So I would highly encourage you to at least check this out. I myself am inspired to create my own framework for people to help follow and be productive, be successful in different domains of life, and be truly a life master and achieve a serious personal excellence, right? So that's why I was really excited about this framework presented by Andrew. And so this is my reaction. Obviously, we'll have some fun with this reaction. We also will have some whiskey and cigars. I have Angel's Envy Rye here, pretty decent choice. Have some cigars from Dominican Republic. So yeah, we'll go ahead and try this. Let's go.
Absolutely not. You're crazy. I would argue the complete contrary. I certainly enjoy the company of women over the company of most men. So when I was explaining that I do not subscribe to these beliefs, a reporter today from an extremely well-known, respected, left-wing matrix newspaper who was on the phone to me said, "Well, what do you believe in?" And I said, "Would you like me to give you my Tate Commandments?" And she said, "I'd really like that." "I'm sure you would, young lady." So I decided, I said, "Call me back in 15 minutes. And I spent 15 minutes writing.
Just in case, I think he spent more than 15 minutes, but the point he's making is just, joking around and once again showing the competence that you don't need to spend too much time on things. You have to respect the speed, and probably he did it quite quickly, but I doubt it was 15 minutes, so don't worry if you feel overwhelmed.
The commandments. And they're beautiful. Absolutely everything about them is beautiful. I also spoke to the war room, some very senior levels war room gentlemen who helped me refine them and confirm them. They're things I've been saying for a long time in perhaps other words, but they are certainly a framework in which any man on the face of this planet can live a life which is beneficial not only to him, but the people he loves. It's beneficial to God, and it's beneficial to the planet. These tenets which I'm about to explain to you are the framework for any man on this planet to live a life of fulfillment and happiness and joy and spread nothing but those three things without having any kind of negative connotation or dark lining to his actions, words, or deeds. These are the most powerful tenets for a man to live his life by. And I want you all to pay attention and take notes. There's 41 of them. And it doesn't matter if you are black, it doesn't matter if you are white, Christian, Muslim, it doesn't matter if you are strong, weak, rich, or poor. You need to live your life by these 41 tenets, and I guarantee you, the universe is extremely giving, and the karmic forces will ensure that you live a life of absolute fulfillment. In all realms, you will wake up excited to be alive. You will wake up happy. You will not suffer from the sadness, from the depression, from the lethargy, from the lack of motivation, from all of the things which my enemies seem to suffer from. Isn't it very interesting that my mindset has created a reality in which I am ultimately powerful and can do absolutely anything, including become the most hated man on the planet and still survive that attack and still have a voice, whereas all of my enemies crumble instantly at will? Would you listen to the training methods of a person who is strong and hard to kill, or the training methods of a person who is easy to squash like a bug? My enemies have no power. I am the most powerful man.
While he's saying that he's the most powerful man on the planet, which I truly appreciate, I just want to say that, man, I definitely need to improve my cutting because I did it in quite pathetic way. I just keep eating a few of the leaves of tobacco. But hey, man, I already enjoy this cigar because it's quite cool, good smell here. It's called Bolivar. I might mispronounce it. Since 1895. It's pretty good. All right, let's keep going. So now we are about to actually hear the tenets.
Man alive, because I live by 41 tenets, which I am here to share with you. These are not really extremely important. So I will begin. I believe that men have the divine imperative to become as capable, powerful, and competent as possible in this life. I reserve the right to hold my own beliefs and practice them as I see fit, and I allow all other people the same right to believe and act as they wish.
So obviously, almost after every tenant, I would love to make a pause and just speak to have my reaction to this. And so what I think here is happening is that Andrew, first of all, is saying ultimately you have to be a capable man, and you have to work on different you have to be successful in different domains. You have to work on all of the strengths and weaknesses of yours. You have to identify where you have the weaknesses, where you have the strength. You have to play to both. You have to improve, and you have to be a well-rounded individual. But then what I like immediately after that, he makes a point. The second tenet basically is that you as an individual, as a man, you are free. You have freedom to decide what things to follow, what opinions you would have. It's also in a sense freedom of speech that he's here talking about, but it's also freedom of having certain beliefs, and that's extremely important. I think it's cool that he combined those two tenets, and they are among the first ones, I think.
Number 3, I prefer loving, rewarding, consensual relationships with beautiful, positive, and virtuous women. Number 4, I believe men and women are different and that each has their own unique and important strengths and abilities. Number 5, I believe men have the sacred duty to protect and provide for the important people in their lives.
So here is the element about women, right, which I absolutely support as well, obviously. I think he will talk about women in a few other tenets when we will get to them. But main point here is that women have certain things they are strong at, and men have certain things they are strong at. And this idea of equality, what's weird about it these days, the way people express it, is they confuse that if we are equal in a sense of respect as human beings, it does not mean that we're equal in a sense of sex or gender, which we are not, because obviously we are not. That's just stupid to assume, but at least biologically speaking, and then even more so psychologically, and even from religious standpoint, in Islam, in Christianity, in other religions, there is an element of which men do certain things and women do certain things. Now, it doesn't mean that we are all bound by very strict construct as to what we can do profession-wise, for example, but there are certain things that men have strength at, and there are certain things that women have strength at. And I think Andrew at length talks about also life choices. Obviously, you can build a career as a woman, and good for you, God bless, do it if you want it. But then a big thing for both men and women is to build a family and procreate, and although men can do it later in life, women can't. There is a physicality there. There is a nuance of being even capable of getting pregnant, while men can procreate, and they can do it later in life, and men at the same time need to provide and protect, and they need to achieve a certain level and become high status, high value, high caliber, and become excellent at what they do, right? So this idea that we as men should be somehow less empowered or less masculine, while women need to pursue all the masculine endeavors such as business, finance, career, you name it, is just absurd. They're just trying to flip upside down the norms, while they forget that the norms were established for a reason. right? And I, as an Armenian and Ukrainian, I can speak that in both of my home countries there is a war, and I definitely can speak that women and children, they left the country, while men are bound by laws to stay and fight. And so you can find maybe 5 to 10 sniper women on a Time magazine being promoted with beautiful makeup, while there is hundreds of thousands soldiers who are males who actually need to fight. So it's interesting when we go back to survival, then everybody forgets about this thing. Oh, a woman can do everything and a man can do everything. Yeah, sure. They all back to normal gender roles. So that's just another point. Then the other tenet that Andrew was talking about here was actually about the fact that men have to have a duty to provide and protect people they love. It can be brothers and sisters, mother and father, friends, woman, wife, etc. So he's extending that idea of being a protector and provider for a woman and being a leader in the family to the idea that you can be a leader in your extended family, you can be a leader in your network, you can be a leader among your friends. It's just the idea of striving to lead by example, something that we need to definitely take into account and pursue in our life, in my opinion. So let's go further.
Number 6. I believe men have the sacred duty to protect the innocence and sanctity of their children and reserve the right and responsibility to raise their children as they see best to ensure their long-term happiness and success. Now,
this one is super cool point that Andrew made here. Because what I see, especially in the Western countries, a lot of intervention into how families, raise their children from institutions and universities, which, by the way, I have 3 master's degrees. That's a long story why and how I got there. But the point is, I definitely know inside and out that some institutions are so corrupt. It makes me sick in my stomach to the extent that they're so corrupt that they're basically indoctrinating and brainwashing children with a certain ideology instead of trying to teach them that there are different opinions, different views, different spectrums, whether it's politics, culture, religion, health, social studies, you name it, science, right? And opening their eyes to the ideas and then let them choose for themselves, let them debate, let them compete, let them truly learn. Instead, they're getting subscribed forcefully into certain ideas. And one of those ideas is that somehow institutions, universities, government as a whole, or certain communities, right, know better how to, upbring your child. They know better that what kind of gender a child can choose without consent, without even having conscious thinking before 18 years old. So yeah, there is a lot of problems with this, and I love that Andrew put this belief and tenet here, because what he's just trying to say is that everybody's children, everybody's parents' children, is their business. So do not intervene. Do not try to force children and indoctrinate them with some idiocy. And even if you would have a good influence, let the children be taken care of by their parents. Now, if they don't have parents, that's a different conversation. We can, have another series of podcasts talking about how we can handle, those children that don't have parents or don't have proper care. That's a different conversation. But the point is here that whichever parents have children, they are the ones who need to take care of them, not any other way. So let's keep going.
Number 7. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise strong, capable, and honorable sons. Number 8. I believe that men have the sacred duty to raise kind, feminine, and virtuous daughters. Number 9. I utterly disapprove of violence within romantic or familiar relationships. Number 10. I support good and honest governments, and I will obey only their laws.
So here I think Andrew, now he is kind of moving into different direction. He was talking about family. I think everything makes sense there. We just discussed it. But speaking of government, he is saying that, again, there is so much corruption in government. There is so much control and power play. And I like there is a Jordan Peterson's quote that great have authority and corrupt have power, right? Something of that nature. I might have been paraphrased it, but the point here is that if a government would be truly trustworthy, then yes, sure. And I think Andrew was talking about strict laws in, for example, Arab Emirates, and he was saying that but it's one of the safest places in the world, Dubai, and those cities. And his point was, yeah, okay, sure, if they provide security and safety, then I will obey certain laws. But then if there is no even security and safety, or there is no freedoms, then why would you even obey any law, right? I understand I just made like more general statement. We are not getting into the weeds of certain governments and how legal systems works, etc. But the main point is here, if that would have been the case with the government, then yes, sure, we would trust it. Unfortunately, out of 190 countries or more, it's very hard to find truly trustworthy government. But yeah, let's keep going.
Number 11. I prefer to only conduct business dealings with trusted and vetted brothers. Number 12. I believe that a man...
About business, that's not always actually works like that. Sometimes you might not have family members. Sometimes you might not have family members that are competent, or you can't bring them in, or you have some distance problem there, logistical problem, or different views. So the point I'm making is that obviously you can find good partners in business outside any connection to family, but the idea here of this tenet is that you have to find somebody you can trust, and that's very hard. And Andrew and Tristan is an amazing example of brotherhood, but truth to be told, there are many families that do not have this type of relationship, and as a matter of fact, some of people will say that for them it's harder to do business with a family member than with a stranger. So just navigate this aspect and make sure you find the right partner, whether it's your family member or not.
Man has the sacred duty to hold true to his word and do exactly what he says he will do. Number 13. I believe that a man's life is difficult and he has the sacred duty to become strong to handle such difficulty. Number 14. I believe men are personally responsible for their actions and for the results they achieve in their lives. Number 15. I believe in emotional control and the vital need to become disciplined and professional in all things. Number 16. I believe men have the sacred duty to approach everything in life from a position of strength. Number 17.
Once again, here we have the several ideas about the one is competence and capability. Two, what I like the most is accountability. There is also a concept, I think, of extreme ownership. By the way, extreme ownership is something that I think Jocko Willink is talking about a lot, and he has the book named the same way, I believe. And yeah, that's just true. Obviously, there is God, and there is your actions, and God gave you will to take certain actions and make certain decisions. But at the end of the day, you should blame yourself. You shouldn't find somebody to blame if something goes wrong. What you should do is blame yourself. When I say blame yourself, I'm not saying you have to pity yourself, you have to, spend too much time worrying, being anxious, being sad and depressed. I'm just saying you have to identify that you are the one causing a problem or not achieving what you want, and then ask yourself, what should you do to change that? So that's accountability, self-accountability, self-analysis, self-awareness. And so here Andrew mentions that we as men have duty to ourselves to keep promises to ourselves first, to keep promises to other people, to say what we mean what we say, and obviously approach everything, like he said in one of the tenets, from position of strength. And understand that even if you are vulnerable, that's my opinion, if you're vulnerable, you can always come out on top. You just have to find a way. Let's go further.
I believe that all men have the sacred duty to become men of upright and virtuous character and live above all possible reproach. Number 18. I believe it is incumbent upon me to ruthlessly identify my own weaknesses and limitations and eagerly work to overcome them and become more capable in all realms. Number 19. I seek to improve my personal freedom to think, act, and live true to my masculine imperative in all ways. Number 20. I
fucking love when Andrew says masculine imperative. I love it so much. I used to use word masculine excellence, and I think he also used it a couple of times, but masculine imperative, it's a cool word, cool definition. You can interpret it in many ways, but for me, what's resonating with that definition is that imperative in a sense is, I wouldn't call it the right, because it's almost downgrades that term, but in some way that's the right for you to exercise your masculinity, exercise, improve upon, and live by. And I think a lot what we see in modern day and age and in modern culture, if you will, especially in Western countries, is the complete annihilation of masculinity, complete misuse of the term, complete attack on masculinity day by day, which to me is just so, it makes me, it gives me some hope. I mean, I know my own principles in life, so I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried more about my neighbors and people I see, and some pathetic individuals, very pathetic and weak-minded males I see. It's just hard to watch. You might say it sounds so cheesy, like I'm some kind of masculine prophet or something like that, but it's not that. It's just like the truth is, you want strong males around the world, because after all, we are the ones ruling the world. We are the ones handling most of the infrastructure, doing a lot of difficult things, and it's also about competition. I don't want to live around where everybody is a simp, a weak-minded man, because how the hell then I'm gonna improve? I want to be around strong men who motivate me to be more disciplined, to be stronger, to achieve more, to go forward, to go higher, to do more. And so that only possible if all of us have, I wouldn't say similar worldview, that's too of a broad term, but at least to some degree similar understanding of masculinity. And so I'm really grateful that these two great brothers, they actually preach something that, I mean, it's common sense, to be honest, but it's not common anymore these days. So I'm grateful for their message.
Each man has a sacred duty to mold his physical body into the strongest, more resilient, and most capable version of itself possible. Number 21. I believe that men have the sacred duty to rigorously train themselves both physically and mentally every day. 22. I believe that I have a sacred duty to only eat the highest quality foods possible to maintain my health, vitality, and masculine virality.
Masculine virality, man, again, I just love Andrew's use of words, but what he's saying here specifically is basically referring to, obviously, physical strength. Now, we're talking about being well-rounded, but you can't be well-rounded if you're not physically strong. I'm not talking about you becoming a professional athlete. I'm just saying you have to be strong enough to handle, certain things, to be, at least to a certain degree, battle ready, right? You never know what's gonna happen. And again, I just told you, I'm from Ukraine and I'm Armenian. My family experienced crazy things with war. My friends are still there, so it's nuts. And you never know what's gonna happen. You think you sit today and chill and watch Netflix and everything is cool, and tomorrow there is a fucking missile in the sky. So what you gonna do then? You will rely on others? What about you protecting your own family? So being combat ready, being battle ready, being just healthy enough, being energetic, so that you can work hard, because if you want to hustle, become rich, and become successful in other domains, you have to be, like, without health and strength physically, you can't build up mental strength. Mental and physical actually are intertwined, so you have to work on both. And then you have the spirit, they say in a healthy body you have a healthy spirit, something like that. So yeah, definitely appreciate the sentiment about the physical aspect. So definitely work on your body, gentlemen, because without it you won't go too far.
Number 23. I reserve the right to protect the sanctity of my bloodstream and make my own decisions about my medical care and procedures. 24.
Fuck, I love this. And fuck vaccines. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna even get into it. That's it.
I affirm the importance of endlessly improving my mental faculties through diligent work, study, and practice. 25. I believe in acquiring wealth and abundance in order to improve my life and do good for those I care about. 26. I believe in the merits of healthy competition and constantly encouraging all men to seek out competition to improve themselves. 27.
I just was talking about competition, so that kind of echoes what I said.
I believe that masculine brotherhood is essential to men's mental health, happiness, and success, and I relentlessly encourage men to meet together, train together, and work together. 28. I maintain the trust of my brothers through reverent silence regarding our most sacred and shared experiences. 29. I believe in honoring my ancestors and living in a way that would make them most proud of me today. 30.
The element about brotherhood is important. Like I said, it's a competition, but it's also finding people who can support you, because only other men will truly understand what you're going through. Having true friends and friendships, you can trust me. Sometimes you can find beautiful, wonderful, amazing brothers you can rely on, and they do not share bloodline with you. Like, I have really amazing friends that I'm proud of, and I think everybody would be jealous of. So I'm extremely grateful for them. And yeah, it's definitely something that you need. But also make sure that your friends, at least to some degree, are growing with you, and they want, if not the same ambition, but at least close, because you want to be around people who uplift you and motivate you and help you, versus people who just keep complaining and spread negativity. I think that's so basic, but I think you already know it, but it's not bad to remind.
I reserve the right to administer difficult rites of passage for our young men to allow them to earn the rank of manhood. 31. I affirm the importance and need for travel and adventure as men. 32. I seek to help men overcome poor mental health through embracing hard work, physical improvements, and shared masculine brotherhood. 33. I reserve the right to make the best choices I can at the time to protect my self-respect and mental health. 34. I do good in the world and seek to help those less fortunate than myself. 35.
I think now, Andrew, obviously I watched this before, and now Andrew so mentioned mental health, which is very cool. I know that you watch some of the videos and you think, oh, well, he doesn't support mental health. Actually, no. The fact that he was making some of the joking and more aggravating statements, and I was able to scan through and understand his message, especially about depression. Like he was saying, depression as a disease where you just walk around in the street and somehow you became depressed, that's just fake news. But what he's saying, feeling depressed, is real. So in other words, depression is real, but the way the doctors and medical industry describes you getting that disease, that is wrong. So the idea of how you enter in that state. Now, trust me, I can talk about it at length, and at some point I will. I have been through depression myself, and I definitely appreciate the sentiment. I definitely know the mental health issues and problems. So I'm not disregarding it, but I'm just saying the way it's portrayed in the medical industry is just, to a certain extent, is truly wrong. And so what Andrew was saying is that you are depressed because of certain things in your environment, in your life, that you want to change. And 99% of the time, those things, if they are changed, then the depression slowly goes away. Now, sometimes it's so bad that you can't handle life without drugs, and I understand it. I know that Andrew is super against it, and I'm against it too, but I'm not going to judge if you went that route, because I understand that there could have been extreme difficulty. Speaking of war, for example, people, military coming back with PTSD and being depressed, so it's not that simple. But I'm just saying, knowing the truth behind what is depression, what is anxiety, how it works for you, how it affects you, how can you handle it, what are the tools, what are the solutions, are there anything else besides drugs, what you need to change in your life, what action you need to take, what support you need to have. Those things are important. To have a bigger picture, to have counsel from different people, from fitness coach, from a doctor, from a scientist, from a successful person, from a mentor, from a business person, having access to advice. And you now have internet, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely can get that information. So going through all of that research and information, that's important before you say, oh, I'm depressed and I just need a drug, otherwise I can't handle myself. So that's a sentiment I think he was meaning in his tenet when he touched on mental health. And the other aspect he was talking about, I think was, actually, let's get into it. I think
I believe all men have the responsibility to lead and guide those they care for to greater.
Oh yeah, he now moves on to this idea that I believed a long time ago, that if you're a capable individual, you know, they say you have to give back. I don't believe in giving back, because sometimes nobody gave you anything. You took it, you worked for it, you earned it with your, blood, sweat, and tears. And this idea you should give back some. There is nobody to give back to, but there is a lot of people to give to. It's not about giving back, it's just about giving. And if you are capable, you can help others. it's almost an obligation for you to do it. I understand that you might say, well, I don't owe anything to anybody, and I would agree, but if you're capable, to me that's something rightful, well, it's righteous to do, is to help others to also improve, to uplift them. And so I think those tenets that Andrew will talk about in a minute, that's pretty much what it is about.
For health, prosperity, and happiness. 36. I choose to only interact with those who are respectful and civil in return for my own respect and civility. 37. I reserve the freedom to speak and refer to others as I believe is best and most truthful. 30.
This is perfect. One is about reciprocating the respect, and another one obviously was about ensuring that, you know, from a standpoint of public message or public expression in a public place of referring to somebody, that could be even, I mean, I don't think he actually he goes that tactical and means pronouns, but he just says that nobody is able to force a man that lives by truth to compel him to use certain words and certain language that makes no sense from biological, religious, and any other standpoint of view. And so that could be about pronouns in some way. You know, people these days identify as a tree or a Michael Jackson or whoever they identify with. They think that they have 100,000 pronouns, and that's all good because they have feelings. But yeah, I don't think living by, if only everybody lived their life by their feelings, I don't think Earth would be around anymore. I think Earth would blow up and all of the humanity would cease to exist. Just saying. So I love that element. I love the element about truth, and love the element, about just the right to express yourself the way you're supposed to, and once again, freedom of speech too.
38. I reserve the right to choose my company and include only those whom I believe are best for my health, happiness, and success. 39. I believe I have an imperative to only spend my time in a way that I determine is beneficial, uplifting, and empowering to myself and others. 40. I choose to only allow myself to be influenced by those who I believe have my best interests at mind. And 41. Each day I dedicate myself anew to create the greatest possible positive impact on the world and do the work necessary to achieve a greater masculine excellence across all the realms of human behavior. Those are the...
So before the summary that Andrew will make, a quick note, I love the thing about the impact, the positive impact, right? Making the positive impact in the world, that's what we also strive for. And my belief is that you become well-rounded, and that in itself assists you in achieving the highest possible impact that you can make in your life, and you can make in the world as a whole, and you can contribute to improving somebody else's life as well that way. So that's the whole idea about impact. I love that word, I love that term, and yeah, I think it's beautiful tenets. I definitely resonate with all of them. And I would love to see more of this type of advice from Andrew and Tristan, where they go deep into some frameworks and ideas and concepts that are very vivid and very structured and very specific. Because I think before there was a lot of, well, I love these two dudes, but there was a lot of advice that is more broad or in a joking manner. There was not necessarily something specific in some cases. So I love that Andrew decided to go this route this time. Let's watch summary real quick and we'll wrap this up.
Things I believe in. When a reporter calls me like an amateur and says down the phone, I think you believe in misogyny. And I say, listen to me. You are not equipped mentally to debate with a man of my caliber. I am in a different echelon of intellect. Do not call me and make statements which you know to be fictitious. You know I do not believe or adhere to this misogynistic bullshit worldview that you're trying to pretend I have somehow, or the internet has somehow created. I believe in something else. I believe in masculine excellence.
Here we go. I think this is a pretty good place to wrap this up. So look, I Obviously, I'm a new content creator, and I would say there is no benefit for me to just promote Andrew and say that they are on Rumble and you can find them there. But the reason I'm saying this, because what if you are totally new to this, you never heard of these guys, and I resonate with their messages. I'm not saying that I agree with everything. I never agree probably with any person in the world for 100%, even maybe sometimes with myself, because that's how you learn, you challenge your own ideas. But what I'm saying is, most of what these guys are saying is masculine excellence, masculine imperative, it's growth, personal growth. I definitely resonate with, most of the messages, and that's why I'm just saying they have been banned. And so if you want to find their messages, go on Rumble and other social media platforms similar to YouTube. I myself probably will be in the future looking into different platforms, because censorship is here, and when you speak the truth, unfortunately they don't want to hear it. They just want to hear their own ideology, and that's another reason for all of us, whether it's a newbie content creator, whether it's a professional content creator, for us to explore other opportunities, other avenues, or other platforms. So here it is. Tateism, 41 Tenets of TATEISM. I enjoyed this a lot. Cool emergency meeting. So if you enjoyed my reaction and you have opinions and thoughts, and if you don't agree with something, by all means, that's cool. Put your comments down there. Let's have a good civil discourse. Let's be respectful. Let's be thoughtful and smart, and let's debate. Let's exchange ideas, and let's grow together. So that's the ultimate point here. Once again, my name is Andre, and subscribe to my channel, and I see you around.